Man, I wish I was myself 10 years ago, because I used to be at every club, every night, everywhere. And people be like, I see you everywhere. Now
promoting or just hanging?
Out.
Just
sometimes
out?
I'd be promoting, sometimes I would just be out. It would just depend on what was, what was going on. So.
Was it PMP first or Delicious Final?
It was Loud first.
Loud first?
I started with Wu-tang. Yeah. Anyway. So.
Okay.
Hold it.
Oh yeah, till the door closes.
Close the door. Smirk at you once again. So I'm also here chilling with Miss Monalisa Murray. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Oh man, I'm chilling. What is your basic story that you would say is Monalisa?
Well, I came from a family of people that love music. Everybody, liked different kinds of music. And it wasn't, just centered around black music. It was, rock, progressive rock, classic rock, new wave, soul, old break beats, funk, everything. So by me, going through the records and, having an open ear in the household, I was able to learn a lot about music from them. So I was always attracted to music because of the artwork on the records and just from the sound. As I got older, I just always stayed in music. Whenever I went to school, I would always ask my classmates, what music are you listening to? What do you like? Every job I've ever had has had something to do with music. I worked in a clothing store and I had to do choreograph like runway, fashion shows, things like that. I was a choreographer in high school, a cheerleader. I worked at Ticketmaster. I used to sell concert tickets, things like that. And then I ended up working in the music business for about 15 years. I worked at various different record labels, doing marketing and promotion. And that's kind of how I started my record collection. I just collected, different records that I had to promote. I always kept a copy for myself.
So how long have you been DJing for?
I've been DJing officially and faithfully for 4 years. But I've known how to DJ for 13. Mark Love taught me how to DJ, and he just showed me the basics. And I was like, okay, now I know how to do it, whatever. And I just, went on. But I'd go over to people's houses if they had it set up. I would put records on and just, play records or whatever, just to goof off like 15, 20 minutes, and then I'd go on about my day.
Word.
But if I ever saw a setup at somebody's house, I would always try to get on and, play a little bit. And I always got compliments, but I was always like, yeah, well, whatever. Somebody in New York sent me a box of records, a box of classic hip-hop records. It was like King T and Redhead Kingpin, Kool Moe Dee, like it was random stuff. 80s hip-hop 12 inches. I can't even remember everything that was in the box. But as soon as I opened it, there was a voice that said, Moni, you have a choice. You can either take this box to a record store and sell it or trade it in and get some stuff you want, or you can take this box and you can start playing music. So I started calling a couple of DJs and favors, because all these DJs in LA I've gotten a good rapport with, and I used to service them. When I worked at the record labels, I used to send them vinyl. And, some of them got limited copies, some of them got my last copy. I pulled strings to get some of them stuff. So I started calling in favors, like, hey, remember back in 1997 when I sent you that limited copy of whatever? And they were like, okay, what can I do for you? I'm like, I need to get some needles. Just until I have enough money to get my own. I have nothing to work with right now, but once I start getting some gigs or get some money coming in, I'll start buying my own, but I need something to start with. And they were like, here you go, here's this, here, call this person, they'll hook you up with this person or whatever. I just called in a bunch of favors to get what I needed to start. And then once I got started, I just took all the records that I had and just started working with those and started getting them in order so I could start playing them, and I took baby steps.
What do you like to play? Like, what are some of your favorite records to spin?
Well, I'm not going to give up any of my secrets.
Yeah, don't get none of the secrets, not the secret sauce, but just, music in general.
No, I'll just tell you about genres. I basically, anything that has a groove in it, that's what I like. Just like my uncles and my aunts and my sister and everybody I got my taste from. I like anything with a groove in it. So if it's a classic rock record and it's got some funk or a groove in it, I love to play it. If it's got anything that can make you move, whether it makes your head bob, whether it makes you, if it gives you a rhythm, I love it. I mean, there's even some black metal groups that I like, but their music is like, it's got a move. Like there's a group from Brazil called, I don't know how to pronounce the name. I think it's Sepultura.
Yeah.
And they're from Brazil. They're a Brazilian black metal group, but they have some stuff that's got some groove in it. Specifically like the Paradise Garage era, which is came out of New York. Larry Levan was the DJ at Paradise Garage. And I was from 1977 to 1986. And a lot of those records are like really good records. And a lot of them are not well known because a lot of them were just like one hit wonders. Maybe 2 hit wonders, 3 hit wonders. I mean, some stuff like, the Luther Vandross and things like that, Gwen Guthrie and stuff like that was, stuff that was a little more timeless. But some of it just, was records you only heard at that spot. You never heard them anywhere else.
you know, I pride myself on my history of knowledge, but when I saw her put up, what was it, Vel Bacardi or something like that on Twitter,
yeah.
I was like, I thought I was the only person that knew who he was.
And that's another thing. I'm like I just, not even on music, just on general information, I'm kind of like a sponge. Like if I find one thing, I try to go in and find out as much as I can. Like if I get 3 records and I see the name Randy Muller on 3 of the records, I'm gonna Google and I'm gonna say, Randy Muller. You know, things like that. Like I just like doing my research. If I get a name and the name keeps hitting me, I gotta dig and see, you know, who that person is. And once I find out who that person is, I tend to try to collect all their stuff.
Do you think a lot of DJs do that? Like they really...
Not a lot of DJs do it. The ones that do it, you know who those DJs are. I wouldn't even be able to run down the names, but you can tell by how they play and what they play. Yeah. You can tell who does their homework and who doesn't. Like with me, people just know me for knowing music. So when they hear me DJ, they already know they're going to hear something out of the ordinary. They're not going to hear the same old, same old. I hate playing no-brainers. I mean... Yeah. You have to when you're pleasing a crowd, but I like to throw records in there now and then that are like, wow, I haven't heard that in a long time. Or, wow, that has the same sample as this record, but I've never heard it before. Things like that.